The strategy is to use a tactical nuclear weapon against Iran's underground missile cities, missile bases. Right now, American airstrikes, Israeli airstrikes, cannot penetrate underground and destroy the capacity of the Iranians to fire ballistic missiles and drones at the GCC and at Israel. And what experts say is that a tactical nuclear strike will not destroy these cities, will not destroy these bases, but they will seal off the entrances and make them inhabitable, make them useless, basically. So a tactical nuclear strike is definitely part of the military strategies of the Israelis and the Americans. I personally do not believe this is likely. And there are certain reasons why I am not that convinced that they will in fact use a tactical nuclear bomb. The first reason is just military doctrine, where militaries tend to be bureaucracies, very strict chain of command. And in order for the military bureaucracy to function, you need a strict military doctrine, an understanding of how to fight a war. Now, Israel has something called assumption option. The idea is that if the very existence of Israel is threatened at any point, then Israel will launch all its nuclear arsenal, and it could be, and people argue about how many nukes it has, like 90 to 300, okay? But Israel would launch these nuclear weapons and nuke all the world cities, okay? And this is called assumption option, where Israel is not retaliating, but Israel is just destroying the world. So in other words, Israel has a strategic nuclear arsenal and not a tactical nuclear arsenal. And it's actually not that easy to transfer from a strategic nuclear arsenal into a tactical nuclear arsenal. So that's one major limitation to this idea. The second thing is that we assume that the Israelis and Americans are going to go into Iran and they want to win this war, whatever winning means for them. They have not actually defined what meaning means. But, you know, if we look at eschatology, if we think that, in fact, that Israel and America are conducting this war in order to bring about the return of Jesus, which is what many American soldiers believe, then the eschatology requires America to lose this war. Because if America were to lose this war, then Israel would emerge as a dominant nation in the Middle East. So Israel doesn't need to beat Iran. Israel just needs America and Iran to destroy each other. And so for that to happen, you would want a ground invasion. So Israel wants to position America so that it is forced into a ground invasion. So I think a much more reasonable option would be to send in limited ground troops, perhaps the 82nd Airborne Division to try to capture a nuclear site, to decapitate Tehran. I'm not quite sure what they have in mind. But again, I'm not actually, I am not at all convinced that a nuclear option is on the table. And the third problem is Russia. So the Washington Post has reported that Russia is providing targeting intelligence to the Iranians, which is exactly what US and NATO did in Ukraine against Russia. So it's almost like payback for Ukraine. Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia, has said that Russia considers Iran an indispensable ally. So I think that backdoors, Russia and Putin have told the Americans and the Israelis to watch it, like don't go too far. Don't move too fast up the escalation ladder. And at some point, I predict that Putin will put Iran under the Russian nuclear umbrella, meaning that any nuclear weapon used in Iran will be considered a direct attack against Russia, and Russia will respond accordingly.